Welcome back, everybody. I'd like to introduce our next speaker presentation. Joining us this morning is Benjamin Oretz from ACCIONA Energia, MacIntyre Wind Farm Project. Benjamin is the project manager for MacIntyre Wind Farm and is a PMP certified civil engineer with 10 years experience in renewable energy at various management roles. He's had key roles in the delivery of the Moore Lake Wind Farm and the Mount Jerrybrand Wind Farm for ACCIONA Energy. Please welcome Benjamin to the stage.
First of all, I would like to thank Connecting Industry for letting ACCIONA present this morning about the MacIntyre Wind Precinct and the supply opportunities that it presents to the local community. My name is Benjamin Ortiz. I'm the project manager control for ACCIONA Energia, and I look after the MacIntyre Wind Precinct. Yeah. So we only have 25 minutes. So I'll make my best to make the presentation entertaining. I promise not to keep it too technical, and I'll try to be as informative as I can for the audience today. So I'll use the first few slides to explain who ACCIONA is, what we do, what our purpose is, and then we'll just jump onto what this project is, great project that is underway, that is MacIntyre Wind Precinct. Yeah. The last part of the presentation will be the most interesting one for the audience, and it will be targeted to the supply chain opportunities. Yeah, at the end of the presentation, we'll open the floor for questions in the meeting room of this platform. Yes, however, I'll ask Connecting Industry to distribute my contact details in case that you want to raise something offline or after this conference. All right, let's get started. Yeah, so who is ACCIONA? ACCIONA is a Spanish company. It's a group dedicated to the development and of infrastructure, but also renewable energy projects. ACCIONA Energia is the business unit, the subsidiary that looks after the renewable energy projects. So we own more than 10 gigawatts of clean energy or renewable energy plants in the world. Now is the seventh consecutive year that ACCIONA is leading the ranking of the world's largest 100% renewable energy companies. Yeah, and we have avoided the emission of the equivalent to 1.2 million of households annually. To put that into perspective, Queensland has, that's 3/4 of the entire Queensland that we avoided the emission for, yeah. So in terms of ACCIONA point of differentiation or our business model is unique, yeah. So we don't just build wind farms, we develop them, we construct them, we engineer in them, we commission them, we operate them, sell the energy, and then we also decommission them. Yeah. So every time we start a project from the development stage, we are committing with the community for the long term. Yeah. So that's why it's so important to make a good impression and for the life of the project. Yeah. So we're gonna be in the area for 25 years at least. Yeah. So we're here to stay, and that's our differentiation. Yeah. So in terms of Australia, we're right here 20 years ago. We built a portfolio of renewable energy projects. MacIntyre Wind Farm will be the 6th wind farm that we have here. But it's going to be the first one in Queensland, hopefully not the last one. We have our purpose that we call it business as usual. Yeah, so this is a different way of doing business for us. Yeah, so it means that for every project that we design and build, we promote a sustainable development from 3 perspectives: yes, social, environment, and economic. In Australia, as I said before, yeah, so we have this is going to be the 6th wind farm, but we do have a big pipeline of projects under development. So we're currently operating in 4 states, and yes, now we're operating in Queensland now. Yeah. MacIntyre Wind Farm will add 1 gigawatt to our portfolio, which is a significant increase. All right, before we jump onto the specific of the project, I just wanted to explain the characteristics of the renewable energy projects in terms of delivery and planning. So in terms of planning, the planning phase is a long phase. So it's not unheard of that it can take 10 plus years. So, and it's not only entail the planning permit, it also entails liaising with landowners, collecting data, finding the right technology, optimizing the layout, building a sustainable model. So then once we are done with that, we start the construction phase. The construction phase is very short as compared to the planning phase. So for solar farms, we're just talking, it could be as short as a few months, 10 months, but for a medium-sized wind farm, we need probably 18 months. MacIntyre is a bit different. It's a mega project. Another characteristic of this is for wind farm, not so much solar farm, is the logistic challenges. So this is something that is related to the ability to bring components to site with the minimal disruption to the community and in the most efficient manner. This is a characteristic that has become extremely challenging in today's environment, affected by COVID, but also with the implications of the conflicts in Europe. All right, in terms of what ACCIONA focuses during the delivery stage is 3 points here. So a strong community involvement. We stay connected to the community. We have different scenarios, different forums where we engage with them continually during the project. Health and safety and environment for us is very, very important to focus on this one. Compliance is also very, very important to us. As we do have a different program that we follow to promote this during the delivery. The last one is significant local investment or expenditure. If you think about this, this goes hand in hand with our first point, that we made before about the full cycle model, the end-to-end model, the business model that ACCIONA has to develop wind farms and do the whole cycle until decommissioning. So we need to build these points so we can operate for the project life. All right, I just thought that I would quickly explain. Maybe this is over simplifying, but explain what the wind farm construction entails. So this is not specific to MacIntyre Wind Farm. This applies to every wind farm. But the first thing we do is we build the access roads. We upgrade the public roads that we need to bring the components. The access roads are going to lead to the different turbine locations. After we do that, we build the foundations. The foundations are to safely secure the wind turbines, and they consist of basically a few hundred of cubic meters and a few thousand kilograms of steel reinforcement and anchor cages. After that, we bring the towers. This is the most exciting part of the project. So this is when we start seeing towers in the air. So this is where the big cranes come to site. After that, probably this is not that exciting, but it's the most important part of the wind farm, the most critical one, which is connecting the turbines via an underground or overhead electrical reticulation network, and also from this wind farm substation to the terminal substation. In case of MacIntyre project, we're going to build 3 wind farms substations that will go to Tamaville substation, 60 kilometers from site, through a 330 kV overhead line. We also build an operational and maintenance building for the purpose of monitoring, but also to store spare parts in a warehouse. Yeah. So that's in a nutshell what construction is. All right, let's talk MacIntyre now. Yeah, so MacIntyre. So we identified this project, this site 11 years ago. It's located 50 kilometers from Warwick in the Windy and Southern Downs Regional Council. And it has a number of favorable conditions. Yeah. So one is the wind resource. The wind resource is over 3,000 hours a year. Yes, so that's a capacity factor of 30%. It's an isolated location, which it's also a positive. Also, in terms of connection, and I touched on this before, it's only 60 kilometers from site, and it's a strong network of 330 kV. That's good for considering the size of this wind farm. The port is a bit over 200 kilometers from site, which is also okay in terms of access. The access is not bad at all. Yeah. All right. What else? So to develop this wind farm, yeah, the layout has been designed in a way to minimize impact to flora and fauna, but also avoid disruption to the landowner activities. The last point that I skipped here is that we picked up wind data for the last 6 years, and we've been engaging with the community for the last few years as well. Figures, I like figures. I'm a number person. Yes, so we'll have over 500 workers on site. Yes, and the delivery will go for a bit over 30 months. Yes, so before I said that a typical medium-sized wind farm takes around 18 months. This is a large wind farm. We're talking 1 giga here. It will represent an investment of 2 billion Australian dollars. Yes, and it will create energy for the equivalent to 700,000 households. Yeah. As I said before, this is 1 giga of megawatts, and will avoid the emission of 3 million tons of CO2 every year. One thing that is not in this slide, but is worth mentioning, is that at the time of completion of the MacIntyre Wind Precinct is going to be the largest wind farm project in the Southern Hemisphere. All right, in terms of Parliament involvement, so it's worth mentioning that the wind farm, MacIntyre Wind Precinct, is divided into CleanCo, Carrara Wind Farm, and the MacIntyre Wind Farm. Yeah, so the Carrara Wind Farm will be owned by CleanCo and operated by CleanCo. Yeah, so it's a 102 megawatts, it's 18 wind turbines. The MacIntyre Wind Farm will consist of 162 turbines, and it will produce an energy of 924 megawatts. Yeah, so CleanCo also will acquire the annual production of 400 megawatts for 10 years. Yes. ACCIONA has also partnered with Arc Energy to build the MacIntyre Wind Farm. So it's a joint venture, and the Metals Group, this group, which is a Metals Group, will acquire 30% of that, has 30% of the stake here. Powerlink is going to be a major player in managing the connection of the 3 substations to the transmission line from site to Tamaville substation. All right, in terms of timeline, yes, I quickly put here together a timeline for the project. So at the moment, we're doing the site establishment with the site offices, and we'll soon start the road works. Yeah, Powerlink will start the construction of the transmission line in May, and the first foundation will be poured for the turbine foundation will pour towards the middle of this year, a bit after the mid-year. Yeah, so later this year or toward the end of the year, we'll start bringing the big cranes to start putting up the turbines. And the peak of our construction in terms of personnel, the 500 people we were talking about, is expected to happen towards that time, towards the end of the year, and it's gonna keep with that level of workforce for 1 year. Yes, we are aiming to energize in Q4 of next year, and that's when we're going to start exporting energy to the grid. The wind farm will be fully operational. The commissioning will finish, and will be finished in early 2025. All right, let's talk about local content. Yeah, so we have an approved local content plan. We have a workforce, as I said before, of at least 500 people. After the wind farm is built, once it's commissioned, we'll have 40 people working on site throughout the whole operation life of the wind farm. We have committed to have 10% of the work hours to be local people. This is employees within the 125 kilometers of radius of site. Yet 10% of the work hours means 10% of 2 million man hours. So that's considerable. That's big. Yeah, that's the same as saying 50 people for 2 years working full time. Also, 50% of those 2 million man hours will be for apprentices, trainees, and on-the-job training. We have estimated that we'll award $500 million in contracts to the local businesses. This is significant as well. All right, so what have we done to engage with local suppliers? So, and we started the project. The first thing we did, our procurement team has gone to their database. They filtered the database, the local businesses they have, and we met with 25 of these local businesses. Yet this was not enough. So we also resorted or defaulted to ICN, Industrial Capability Network, which is a platform that works us to engage with local businesses. Yeah, so we have increased the visibility of the project and for the project opportunities. We received a few hundred of expressions of interest, and we also organized a few sessions with the local suppliers. Yeah. I think it's important to also note, towards the right of this presentation, there is a chart, that explains that local means 125 kilometers from site. Because of the positioning of the wind farm, that doesn't apply to the south, because it encroaches into New South Wales, so local is not considered New South Wales, needs to be Queensland. All right, partnering opportunities. So the wind farm construction is divided into 4 big packages. Civil works, electrical, turbine, and the transport of turbine components. So these packages have or are in the process of being awarded to various contractors, but these contractors have the contractual obligation to meet our local commitments. So these commitments are embedded in their contracts. So as well as also a commitment to report on the progress and monitor the progress, so that we can have a visibility on that. So how we are supporting these contractors is by sharing the knowledge and the contact that we have made during our sessions and the investigation that we conducted, as explained before in the previous slide. Here I put a list of typical subcontractors that we expect. This list is not exhaustive. It's just they are just examples of expected subcontractors. So there are a number of opportunities for the local businesses to get involved with this wind farm. And also the other point is that we have various small packages that are not related to these 4 big packages that I mentioned before. Yes, and that's in the form of fencing, waste management, PP, catering, accommodation, etc. Yeah. Before I jump on the next slide, I think it's important to know that we also are partnering with DGT Training, yes, to create employment opportunity for locals who meet certain criteria. That criteria is specific to people that live within 60 kilometers from the work site, that they have been unemployed for 6 months or more, or they are indigenous or Torres Strait Islanders, yeah, and also women that are interested in construction. This program, that we are partnering DGT Training with, is a target to get these people ready to work, yeah, to be project ready. Okay, in terms of how local businesses can get involved, yeah, so well, we conducted a few sessions already, but you can get involved, you can get in touch through a number of channels. Yes, so one is Bid Contender. Yes, I put the link there. You guys are more than welcome to click on this link and register your interest. It's important to know that ICN, as I mentioned before, is no longer in use, so we ceased the use of it and we replace it with Bid Contender. Alternatively, you can also contact ACCIONA directly to the procurement email, and there is a channel for opportunities, employment opportunities. Our team already has a number of local people that were successful in the applications and already working with us. Yes, and any other information that you need, please feel free to get in touch with myself, or also jump onto the website where you can find very detailed information of the project. Right, I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Any question, we can address it in the meeting room of this platform, but thanks for your time, thanks for listening, and I will be in touch.
Thank you, Benjamin. It sounds like such an exciting project. A lot of the questions that have come through you actually answered as the presentation continued. One in particular, you're talking about 500 jobs in construction phase, 500 potentially people on site. How are you managing fatigue? Will there be a camp established? Will you potentially use coach transport for those contractors during that phase?
That's such a good question. Such a good question. It has been a topic of discussion for us, extensive topic of discussion. Yeah, so we do have a fatigue management plan that we stick to. One of the major or biggest risks that we see in this project is driving. Yeah, so driving after work can be really risky after long sessions or long days on site. So we're establishing a camp on site that will accommodate most of the workers. Yeah, so that's this is to avoid the driving and also to manage the fatigue.
And driving into those regional areas, there can be so many hazards, wildlife, etc. So I think that's a really good way to look after those contractors and minimise those risks.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. This is something that we always discuss. We have a number of mitigation measures that we take, and what we also encourage is the pooling, yes, so for people to become impaired. One, goes on the way there, and the other one right back. We are also for those that accommodation that is not on site. Yeah, we are also looking into organizing minibuses, yes, for people not to drive. But it definitely is. Look, we have a risk register for the project that's in the top 3 of the risk. Yes, so that's something we take very seriously. And I guess the challenge is not to drop it. Yes, so it's create the awareness as well, but not drop it. The project is long, and we need to be able to be on board and not to fall into complacency. That is one of our biggest enemies in terms of health and safety.
Yeah, absolutely. And having a safety background, I applaud you for that. And if it's not too personal a question, I do have one of the delegation would like to know what part of Spain you're from.
Oh, yeah, I get that a lot, but I'm not from Spain. I'm from Argentina. I still speak Spanish, still have my accent, of course, but I'm not from Spain. From Argentina. I'm all about soccer.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for clarifying. If anybody would like to connect with Benjamin, please head to the ACCIONA Energia booth, take a seat or join the queue to take a seat, and you can speak to Benjamin there. And of course, his presentation will be shared with you all post-conference. Thank you, Benjamin. That was so informative.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for the
All right, everybody.